Baruch Hashem, tonight we're going to be counting Tiferet of Hod. Yesterday was 30 days to the Omer. And yesterday we were talking about how it's important for a person to make space for another person. When a person makes space for another person, not only that he's making room for another person to exist, he's also admitting in some cases that somebody's better than him. Some people do it naturally. Some people, it's very hard for them to admit that somebody else is better. Sometimes it's hard for people to admit that they don't understand something, that it's above their ability. They find it hard to say, no, this I don't understand, or this is beyond what I can grasp. But nevertheless, when a person is in any type of state of confession, or that I admit, and I humble myself, the spiritual result is that he's surrounded with what's called Hod. And Hod can be many different ways. It can be glory or a majestic splendor. There are many ways to explain what does it mean Hod, but we'll try Be'ezrat Hashem now to explain a little bit more deeper. But nevertheless, when a person is able to humble himself, then by default he will have a surrounding light, a or makif, what they call in English a halo, a hala. Kabbalah calls it or makif, a surrounding light that is called Hod. Now, what does it really mean, Hod, when it comes to my nefesh, to my soul? That means that I'm humble, humility. And one way of explaining it is subjugation, when I'm like making myself a little bit smaller than what I am. It's called in Hebrew Anava. Anava or tzniut. This is Hod shebanefesh. If a person is able to reach to that part of his nefesh, that it will shine outwards, then that's a very high level, that a person can bring this level of humility in his nefesh to be able to project outwards. The ones that we know that did it very well was Moshe Rabbeinu, of course, that his Hod, this level of humility, was able to shine outwards. Now, when a person is able to admit in the existence of another, this is only coming from the midah of anava, of being humble, of humility, then right away he will be surrounded with this godly light that is called Ora shel Hod vehadar, a light of Hod vehadar. I'm sure you heard the term Hod vehadar. Hod vehadar levusha. We sing that every Friday when we say Eshet Chayil. Hod vehadar can be explained, like I said, it can be explained as glory and majestic splendor. Now, the last 2 days we were talking about Chesed shebahod and Gvura shebahod. Chesed shebahod, we were explaining, is me making space for another person, that another person exists. Gvura shebahod is when I actually know how to apply that. I need the strength to do that, because it means that I'm diminishing myself. But now we're coming to Tiferet shebahod. Tiferet, first of all, Tiferet can be beauty. Tiferet can be also glory and splendor. But Tiferet really is beauty. Hod will be more precise to say that it's this splendor. But the Hod is this shining light, the aura around the Sphira. And that's something that we want to reach. Sometimes you see a great tzaddik, a great scholar, a great rabbi, and you see, wow, this light around him. If you're not able to see that, then it means something's wrong with you, not with the person. I know many people that they're great individuals and others won't see that. So the problem is in the viewer, not in the person itself. But nevertheless, where do we see the best example? That Moshe Rabbeinu, when he went down from the mountain, it says that his face was beaming of light. Karan or panav. His whole face was shining. To a point that he had to cover his face for 40 years. He had like a cover, like a veil. Nobody was able to see Moshe Rabbeinu's face, because every time that he would pick up the veil, then everybody would be blinded by the light. His face was beaming with light. I told you the story why, because if you go back to Parashat Vayikra, then if you're looking in the Torah, Vayikra is written with a small aleph. And of course it says Vayikra Hashem el Moshe, And Vaikra is not so appropriate. Moshe Rabbeinu is very humble, and he said to Hashem, listen, this is not appropriate that you are just calling me. What, I'm your friend, I'm your buddy. It's not appropriate. So Hashem says, okay, so what do you suggest? So Moshe Rabbeinu says, I think you should write Vaikar. Vaikar is, more down to earth. So Hashem says, no, I can't do Vaikar, because Vaikar is when I call a Rasha, a wicked person. When Hashem called Bilam, it says in the Torah, Vaikar Hashem el Bilam. So Hashem says, it's not appropriate, this is a Rasha. So Moshe Rabbeinu says, listen, I don't want you to write Vaikra, it doesn't look good. It looks like as if I'm your friend. I'm not your friend, I'm your servant. So Hashem says, so what are you suggesting? So Moshe Rabbeinu says, remove the Aleph. No, I can't remove the Aleph. The set amount of letters. I can't move letters from the Torah. So Moshe Rabbeinu says, you know what, how about you write it small? So we're not going to see it so much. So Hashem says, okay, I'll write it small. But now they had a problem. Because when Moshe Rabbeinu wrote the Sefer Torah, then he had the precise amount of ink to write a Sefer Torah. It's not like today that the scribe buys a bunch of ink and then he runs out, he buys more ink. Moshe Rabbeinu had exactly the amount of ink. So now if you write the Aleph a little bit smaller, then you're left with a little bit of ink. And what do you do now? So Hashem took that ink that was remaining and he smeared it over Moshe's face. And then when he went down, the face of Moshe Rabbeinu was beaming of light. Why? Because he took this ink of the remaining ink from the Torah and he put it on his face. So it says, look in Sefer Vayikra, it says that 40 years Moshe Rabbeinu had a veil. Where he would go into the tent, lift up the veil, nobody saw the face of Moshe Rabbeinu. Why? Karan or panav, the skin was beaming of light and nobody was able to look in his face. And it says that Moshe Rabbeinu zacha karnei hod. He married to have beams or rays of hod. This is this glory, the splendor. And it says that panav meirot, his face is shining. I don't know if you ever saw a real tzaddik with your own eyes. You see the face is shining. It's not a regular face. Sometimes you can look at a person and just by his expression or the darkness on his face, you know exactly who's the person. Especially somebody who's a little bit more refined, you can look at a person's face and know a lot about that person because the face tells everything about the first person. A face in Hebrew is called panim. The words in English never make sense. In Hebrew, the words make sense. Face in Hebrew is panim. Panim means the inside. So if I'm sad, my face is like this. You see from the inside, it's projecting out. I'm happy. You see the face is all happy. Why? Because the inside is projected outside. The person is a tzaddik. You see a beam of light. Hod. Person is a wicked person. You see with the beard, with the yarmulke, with the peot, with everything. You see rish'ut, you see evil on the face. Moshe Rabbeinu, his face was a projector of light. So, how do I get this light on my face? I also want to get this light on my face. How do you merit this hod? How do you merit this shine on your face? Only from the midah of hod. And how do you get that? Is when you admit, but coming from a very humble place, that this is above me. And I know it sounds in theory very easy. Oh yeah, of course it's above me. This in theory sounds good. The question is if you really think that. You might say that out in the open, but do you really think that? If you really think that, that's midat anava, and most people don't think that. That's the actual truth. That's the challenge you have to put yourself in. Do I really think that that person is above me? Do I really think that this situation is above my comprehension and I can handle? And why? If I admit that, some people think I'm losing control. Wait a minute, I'm actually saying that I can't handle this. Now, this is not coming from a negative place, rather coming from a positive place, that I'm humble and I'm applying this midat anava, this humility, that this is bigger than me. This is bigger than me, this is greater than me. This is how you get to real awe of Hashem. We spoke about yesterday that I believe, and this is not talking Lashon Hara, it's just pointing out the reality. I don't see many people that are really God-fearing. Once in a blue moon, you see a person that is really a God-fearing person. Just the other day, we were talking about a certain individual that asked us a question in halakha, and the person, for whatever reason, thinks it's okay to do certain things on Shabbat, and the person is desecrating Shabbat. So she asked my wife asked me, is she allowed to do that? I said 100% no. This is desecrating Shabbat. No excuses, no loopholes, no bending corners. This is Chilul Shabbat. So my wife went back with the answer to the person. My husband said, you're desecrating Shabbat. No, I'm not. Well, you are. No, I'm not. Well, you are. You can live in denial and think you're not desecrating Shabbat, but you are desecrating Shabbat. And this is not pikuach nefesh. This is not life-threatening situation. You are desecrating Shabbat. You think you are not, but you are. You want to live in denial? Well, in 80 years when you go up to Shamayim, they'll smack you on your face with their truth and tell you, you desecrated Shabbat. Why are you pretending you're not? So this is one example out of many how I'm not willing to humble myself and says, who am I kidding? Who am I kidding? So this is one example out of many, and I see many people to reach to a high level of Yirat Shamayim. If you have really Yirat Shamayim, then you really are afraid to move the wrong direction. And a lot of people, they're dressed apart, but when you see the behavior, you say, sorry, that's not Yirat Shamayim. Because if you were fearing Hashem, you would be shaking out of your bones to say something wrong, or to look the wrong direction, or to do something else. So you don't have really Yirat Shamayim. So don't pretend you do. So I want to reach to a place that you don't have to do it in front of people. I do it with myself. When I challenge myself and I ask myself, who are you kidding? You think you're kidding somebody? You might be kidding him. You don't mean you're not kidding him. You can lie to anybody around you. Don't lie to Hashem, because you can't. And if you lie to yourself, you are a fool. So I have to bring myself to a real high level of Yirat Shamayim. Other than that, I'm wasting my time. So how do I reach to this level that this Hod is shining on my face? And I want to get to that point is only when I'm able to humble myself, to admit in such a deep and profound way that something is greater than me. And this is real Anava. And I spoke about it yesterday. You can be amazing in many, many things, but everybody in the world has at least one character trait that they're better than you. You need to know how to do that. Now, how do you practically do it? And this is where you can challenge yourself, is do you really respect and give honor and respect to other people? And unfortunately, I see again, many people failing in that. Because if I'm so great, why should I give you honor and respect? If you come and sit in my space, do I get upset? So I say, no, you also have to sit. Your probably legs are tired. Or maybe your tuchus needs to be comfortable right now, and I'll stand up. So I see again, I can only say what I see. Very few people give respect to another person. What if the person is dressed very dirty or torn clothes or whatever it is, or you don't think that the person is that great? You have to question yourself if you are actually giving respect to other people. If you don't give respect to other people, you'll never reach to that place of real humbling yourself. I can guarantee to you, without meeting Moshe Rabbeinu, just by knowing that he was the most humble person in the world, that anybody who would approach him, he gave him the exact same respect, and not chas v'shalom think for 1 second, I'm better than you. Now, when I behave in that way of humility, what's called hachna'ah, then this Hod is drawn on me. Then the Tiferet of Hod, the glory, the shine, can dwell on me. And that's what I want to reach to. This is sitting on me like a crown. And that's really the Tiferet of the Hod, the beauty of the light that is surrounding me. So I look good in the world here. I don't need to look good physically. I'm looking good in the world here, the world above. And this is the Tiferet of the Hod that I want to have it on me. I don't want to have anything negative shining on me. Now, the practical challenge is that you have to constantly ask yourself and see yourself, do I give the right respect to the person in front of me? Even if he's not the chief rabbi of the world or some big shot. And that's easy to give respect. The question is, are you giving respect to that person because you're benefiting from now? There's no nice way of saying it, but I think it's called tuchas kissing. So maybe I gain something from that. That's really respect. It's really respect is if you give respect to any other person, even the ones who don't treat you so much as you would want to. The point is that I have to challenge myself. How much do I bring myself down? And that's the practical thing, is how much respect do I give another person? I can shut up another person, I can negate the other person, I can push him away, I cannot listen to him. Here I'm challenged, how much respect am I given? And of course, like we said yesterday, it all has to be in the line of the Torah. When the person is going against the Torah. The person is going against the Torah, I don't have much expectations from the Kadosh Baruch Hu for me to respect this person. And again, we're also categorized, what does it mean goes against the Torah? Deliberately out in the open going against the Torah, the person is doing a mistake and he's like a baby that was captured between the nations, doesn't even know what he's talking about. But nevertheless, your test here is not when you in front of a great person, is in front of a person that you see that you are much greater than them, if you still apply this respect to that person. Either way you're looking at it, there's something that's called kvod habriot, the respect to any creature, any creation, and you have to challenge yourself constantly if I'm disrespecting a person or respecting a person. Now, what will cause me to disrespect a person is that either I think I'm much greater than him, or that person did something wrong to me, or that the person is much greater than me, and then already jealousy and superiority and all this is starting to kick into effect. He's much better than me, then I don't like him. So I don't want to give him any respect. Why? Because he's everything that I'm not. So either way you're looking at it, this can be triggered from many different ways. You need to question yourself constantly, am I giving this person the right respect? And needless to say, that it's not when it's done with somebody great that you admire, then of course you'll give that person respect. Let's say you do it when it's not somebody you admire. Now comes even a greater challenge. Sometimes people don't like other people. Believe it or not, it happens sometimes. I know it sounds rare and kind of hard for us to understand. No, well, somebody doesn't like somebody? Nah, that doesn't happen on our planet. But nevertheless, believe it or not, sometimes people dislike other people. And you know why they dislike them? Because they're better than them. They're more successful. They make more money, they're more popular, they're smarter, so I don't like him because he's better than me. Now let's see if you respect that person. If you're actually giving respect to the right person, and he deserves better respect, he's greater than me. Instead of applying jealousy here, because he's greater than me, now humble yourself, they're saying he's greater than me. You know, the Ramban says in the letter, the famous letter of the Ramban, Igeret Rambam, Im Ashiru. If he's richer than you, you have to respect him because Hashem gave him money. If he's greater than you have to respect him because Hashem made him great. So if somebody's greater than me, it's not because I'm bad. It's because Hashem decided for this person to be greater. And I still have to respect him because Hashem gave him the wealth, the knowledge, the power, the glory. Then I still have to respect that person. If I have any feelings of resentment, then the problem is me. And this is the complete opposite of the Tiferet of Hod. Tiferet is the beauty of this glory. Now let's see how I can apply that in my life. And if I'm able to do that, then this Hod v'hadar levusha, it's talking about Avraham Avinu was giving a eulogy to Sarah. What did he say? Hod v'hadar levusha. She was dressed with this Hod v'hadar. Just imagine the tzniut, the humility that Sarah had. That Avraham Avinu was able to write on her that she's dressed with Hod ve'adar. I know later on Shlomo Melech wrote it down, but the Eshet Chayil belongs to Avraham Avinu. Eshet Chayil was composed by Avraham Avinu, and he wrote, that's the eulogy he wrote for Sarah Imenu. And again, later on, Shlomo Melech wrote it down. But nevertheless, Sarah Imenu was dressed with Hod ve'adar, with this splendid, majestic splendor. Why? Because of humility, of tzniut and humbleness. So this is something we want to apply, this is something we want to reach to, because in Tikkun HaMidot, this is the highest level a person can reach, to the Midat HaAnava. And you want to climb and climb and climb, and you reach to the level that you're so humble that even somebody as great as Moshe Rabbeinu, he's humble. So very soon we're going to reach to Hod Sheba'od. This is Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. We're going to explain that already in the, not tomorrow, the next day, Bezrat Hashem. But in the meantime, let's try to beautify this Midat HaAnava, this tzniut in me, so I can see the greatness in others. Even if I know that I'm much greater than him, but I still have to give that person the right respect. He's a human being. He's a creature of the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Kadosh Baruch Hu loves him. And I told you yesterday, we're doing now a tikkun for the students of Rabbi Akiva. We're not just mourning them because we're bored. We're doing a tikkun for them. They didn't respect each other. They didn't honor each other. Then they took the teachings of their Rebbe and they didn't apply them. Their Rebbe said, "V'ahavta l'cha kamocha." It's a great rule in the Torah. So we already analyzed "V'ahavta l'cha kamocha." You have to read it not exactly how it says in the Torah. If you read it how it says in the Torah, "V'ahavta l'cha kamocha," what does it mean? You should love your fellow person like you love yourself. But if you want to read it in a completely different angle, you should say, "V'ahavta l'reacha," comma, you should love another person, you know how? Kamocha. Like how Hashem loves that person. Now if Hashem loves that person, who am I not to love that person? Can you imagine the anger, the frustration, the I don't even want to say the words, how Hashem feels? That you go against somebody else, that actually happens, that Hashem likes him a lot? Ooh, that doesn't come off so great. You're disliking somebody that I like? So much more, so one has to be careful. That's something that I see many are failing. Kadosh Baruch Hu loves us all. How can I not like another person or disrespect him? Hashem loves him. Kamocha. Kamocha means like you. So you have to love another person like Hashem loves that person, not like you like this person. Because you can answer, I don't like this person. But I'm not asking if you like him or not. Hashem likes him. So you have to like him like Hashem likes you. You apply that a little bit more in your life, you'll see that you physically will be lighter. You know why? Because the dirt that is around the body that keeps us down is removed. And what is elevating my physical body is this majestic glory around me. So I'm lighter, I'm happier, I'm not so heavy, I'm not so sleepy, I'm not so depressed and sad. Why? Because I'm elevated with spiritual floats. I'm not so sunk into the klipa and the dirt of the world. And it all depends how I treat other people. And that's where you see the greatness of a person, that he's able to see the greatness in others, even though he's 10 times great. Is to be able to see even this person, how great it is. You know who applied that in the most amazing way? Besides Moshe Rabbeinu was the Baal Shem Tov. The Baal Shem Tov knew exactly who he is. And there weren't many people in our history like the Baal Shem Tov. The Baal Shem Tov looked at every person like, wow, like a diamond. Like, wow, he was shocked. If you would be able to see some type of a video, that's how I'm imagining. The Baal Shem Tov, he was probably awed at every individual. Like a little kid that found like a lollipop. Wow, look, here's another amazing person. I can just imagine how the Baal Shem Tov would relate to other people. And who would he go to? To the simple ones. You know, his students always would get upset. Why are you sitting around you, all the simple people, the Amei Haaretz, the ones who don't even know how to read? Where are the students? We have to be next to you. And he says, no, you just know how to learn Torah. But look at these precious people. So we can never, chas v'shalom, disqualify, negate anybody. When you apply that constantly, you bring on yourself this spiritual dirt. You apply the complete opposite, giving everybody the respect that they deserve, even though you can't stand them. That's when you elevate yourself physically. Forget about spiritually. Physically you elevate yourself. Life becomes lighter, nicer, easier. Why? Because you're surrounded with this Hod v'Hadar, this beautiful aura that surrounds you. So the same way that physically the face of Moshe shine, then our face also can shine. The body can shine. The body is affected by everything that we do. Zad Hashem, hopefully we can take a little bit of that, if not 100%, but something, apply in my life. The challenge you want to put to yourself every day is how much respect am I giving to the person in front of me? And you know when the challenge is? When you don't like that person. And you know why you usually don't like him? Not because they did something bad to you. If you don't like somebody because they did something bad to you, it's 100% your problem, because you are basically ignoring the fact that Hashem sent that person to be the messenger. You're kind of going against Hashem. Somebody did something bad to me right now, whatever it is. If I'm upset at that person, I'm the limited one. We explained yesterday, Katnut Amochin. I'm in a level that I cannot understand that person is a messenger of the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Why are you upset at the messenger? I told you already many times the reality. Hit a dog now with a stick, the dog will bite the stick. He doesn't know you are hitting him. He sees the stick hitting him. So you upset at somebody because he did something to you. So if this is the level, this is mamash, the ultimate, what's called katnut amochin, a level of limitation. But if I'm upset at somebody, he didn't do anything to me, but I'm still upset at that person, then this is what's called darshen. You start asking yourself, why do I hate this person? Because he's better than me. He's more successful. He's more popular. He has more money. Anything that he does is doing good. Everything that I do is a failure. And then I start resenting this person. And needless to say, where it will take you to hate and all sorts of other things bad, like slandering, lashon hara, and so forth. Why? Because you don't know how to apply a little bit of respect to somebody else that the Kadosh Baruch Hu decided for that person to be where he is. As Hashem, hopefully, Bemet, we can have a little bit this resonate in our front part of the brain, that I can actually apply that and not just nod and say, wow, whoa. Now just you have to apply that. So Bezrat Hashem is not only to watch the video on Hod Tiferet of Hod, is to watch it every day and to understand that other people deserve the right respect. And again, don't take my words out of context. If a person is going completely against the Torah, or if a person is coming to murder you, I'm not telling you to respect a terrorist. I'm telling you the normal person that you're dealing with. If a person is going completely against the Torah, out in the open, is against Hashem, you're not required to respect that person. We're talking only about a person that follows the Torah, or in some situations, a person who is a baby that is captured by the nations, that he doesn't even know what they're doing, and there's a way to save that person. We're talking about that. Don't now start saying, he says that I have to respect a terrorist. Somebody's coming to you with a knife. Sir, do you want maybe a cup of water before you're doing? You look like you're sweating a little bit. I don't have to respect anybody in that level, of course. Bezrat Hashem should have the ability to actually apply what we're learning here and not just keep it in the backside of our brain.